Welcome to the inaugural stream of INTERCONTI Wien, presented by Treat Agency. INTERCONTI is proud to showcase a cross-generational group of 13 artists presented by 13 Vienna-based galleries. Join us on a virtual stroll through the ballroom of the iconic Hotel InterContinental in Vienna, where the art fair is taking place. If you're watching this video stream directly on our website, you can navigate it to your liking by clicking the arrows on the left upper hand corner and jump to the next section. You have the option to explore installation views, artworks, and interviews in detail by clicking links embedded into this stream. The artistic positions at INTERCONTI Wien offer a stimulating dive into Vienna's art scene. They provide a snapshot of the participating galleries' diverse programs and current cultural practices within the Austrian capital. So, without further ado, let's dive in. ALEKSANDRA Domanovich, presented by And the Editions.
When ALEKSANDRA Domanovich was tracing down the history of this Belgrade hand, she found out that a lot of women also contributed to its engineering. The first multifunctional prosthetic. I think it's a very playful, it's a very beautiful, and it's a very political work that she transfers this object out of this scientific, male-dominated context into a female, beautiful accessoire. It reveals like how important also the contribution by women was.
Soshiro Matsubara, presented by Croy Nielsen.
Soshiro Matsubara is a Japanese artist based here in Vienna, and I think it's very typical of his practice in general to sort of capture these very excessive moments of passion and love in these very carefully carried out objects. And maybe it's also an attempt to pursue art as such as a sort of desire or passion in a way.
Historically, Vienna has been the birthplace of various artistic movements and innovations across the arts. And to this day, the Austrian artists are enjoying international attention. We spoke to art writer and curator Francesca Gavin about Vienna's current art scene.
I think the art scene here is really fascinating, partly because, firstly, it's got incredible art schools, 2 of them, and I think the way that feeds into the entire city is really interesting. There's so many project spaces, there's so much more support for artist-run spaces that you get in many other countries. I'm really into a lot of the independent galleries. There's a real emergence, I think, of younger galleries coming up, and also how many incredible museums are in walking distance from each other. I think Vienna doesn't realize how lucky it is, actually. Because it's been slightly out, I think it's been allowed to develop its own identity. It's always had a reputation for off spaces, but I definitely think increasingly there's interest from outside of Vienna looking in, seeing what kind of work is coming out here. And increasingly you're getting really good artists coming out of the schools here. You're definitely seeing better shows. And obviously you have the secession. So there's a historical relationship between the avant-garde and the city. So I think it's almost like it's ready to come into its own.
Luisa Gardini, presented by Hermes.
I selected with Hermes Galerie 4 works, all untitled and made with mixed media, because in my entire production they represent a peculiar use of wood. I have chosen works that were compatible both in size and shape, and which have found their ideal place in a showcase.
Melanie Ebenhoch, presented by Galerie Martin Janda.
It is a head, so it has this bulb in the middle, and whatever you paint on top of that would become quite psychedelic, or it warps the image nicely. And I thought it would be nice to kind of project an image on top of it or paint an image on top of it that is also from a hotel. But it's a different kind of hotel, it's not the Intercontinental. It's some sort of like very Lynchian looking with this central perspective. Red, it's red. It's a very horror film-like hotel floor.
One of the unique features of our fair is the presentation of artworks in historic vitrines, courtesy of MAC Museum of Applied Arts. To give you a glimpse behind the scenes, we talked to Birgit Vikas, CEO of Kunsttrans.
These showcases are very special because they're very high, very heavy. We have to take care about them like artworks, and they are stored in the Flakturm, which is the depot of the MAC. So that's not so easy. You needed a lot of manpower to bring them out safely. Yeah, it's not so easy, like it sounds perhaps. Numbers of art collectors are increasing every year, constantly. So this year was also very special because this year I think we got requests from art collectors we'd never heard before. We see this in our facilities because we have storage facilities for art. They never increased like this year.
David Markovic, presented by Georg Kagel Fine Arts.
We present a new work by David Markovic titled Part 8, Edition Afterlist. Afterlist follows the exhibition in our gallery and an online intervention. Part 1, announcement attempt, then Part 2, online intervention or how to reproduce a gallery, and Part 7, exhibition, is now on view in the gallery.
Mathieu Aberat, presented by Gianni Manhattan.
It's a series of masks. I've been doing masks since maybe now 3 years ago, so they have the same research based than the other one, which is how to craft a mask for like a global protection of the head, but with really poorly materials like plastic or cardboard, and try to make them really look childish.
INTERCONTI Wien is a collaborative act. We're delighted that we found strong media partners with Spike and Texte zu Kunst, two highly influential voices of contemporary art. Alfredo Jar, presented by Galerie Hubert Winter.
I'm an architect that makes art, and I've used a lot of cubes in my work and a lot of very simple geometric forms. I've used a lot of minimalist forms, but it's perhaps the first time that I tried to infuse not so much political meaning, but psychological meaning, personal meaning into this minimalist form. So in that sense, it's a new format for me.
Jenny Tischer, presented by Croy Wien.
The exhibition space here, a vitrine by Wiener Werkstätte member Otto Prutscher, functions as formal and contemporary parameter of my work, not here, no there. It consists of a transparent fabric banner depicting the handwritten wordplay, not here, no there, and a sculpture that is framing the imagery of the hanging fabric banner. The installation is a display within a display, a reproduced site that is questioning its own representation and binary hierarchies of representation.
The dynamics of the Viennese art scene are ever in flux. More than half of the participating galleries opened in the city less than 10 years ago, and with them, a new generation of young collectors has emerged. One of them is Cassandra Herrmann.
My focus is on sculpture and objects mainly, but also some photography and more and more videos. Austria has a long tradition in culture and art, so the galleries are showing an international program. There are some formats like Curated Wise in Austria, where we invite artists and the curators from other countries.
Anne-Sophie Berger, presented by Meyer.
I'm very happy that Anne-Sophie Berger agreed on producing a new specific work. It deals with sculptural questions, so to say the relations between inspiration and the realization of a work. Totally in line with previous works, such as Lunch or other larger furniture sculptures. In this work, we re-meet jugglers, a seashell game, Bruegel and Vienna.
Gelatin, presented by Meyer Kainer.
The collective is called GELATIN. We are Ali Janka, Florian Reiter, Tobias Urban and Wolfgang Gantner, but often we involve more people. So this is a sculpture which is a double back head, sort of smashed into each other, and there's a sort of sphere or production left over, like a plane between them that sort of oscillates, that has a structure that might point at something that it tries to mediate.
INTERCONTI Wien was conceived as a hybrid art fair with an online experience. Other areas of the art sector are changing as well, so we spoke to Tectus to ask how they are integrating digital innovation into their work.
We started offering our insurance services as a complete online system, which is absolutely the future. And for us it's absolutely interesting to see that also other parts of the art industry in general are becoming more digital.
Franz and I were working in this amazing network of art-related partners. You know, we're working with transport companies, galleries, museums, institutions, and we see ourselves as a link that sort of connects all these partners. So I think we're very lucky that we get to work in this amazing environment.
Ernst Karamelle, presented by Galerie next St. Stephan, Rosemarie Schwarzwälder.
The vitrine is something what is very often appearing in my work. The vitrine as a display, but also the vitrine as an idea. So I'm quite interested in doing something especially for this space, because usually my work is always connected to a certain context. And every medium has a certain condition. So in a vitrine you can do whatever you do in a space, for example. So the vitrine is a specific space, actually. So I'm gonna relate to that space, and my work is actually developing out of the idea of a vitrine.
Learner Hagard Martin, presented by SOPHIE TAPPEINER.
I work with space in many layers. So my interest about my own work has always been focused on the situation I'm put in, the place, the surroundings, the history of the place, the exhibition space, the studio, kind of everything, every kind of space around it, the action of producing artwork. And what I produce myself, I also call space, because I consider my pieces also kind of small spaces, reacting on the spaces I'm put in and on the situations and on the surroundings in a broad dimension.
Martin Hotter, presented by Vin.
My work is just my work, so that's going to end up there. And I don't look on my work, I kind of look out. I just work, and then opportunities come up like this, and that's particularly interesting because I thought, like, yeah, only in Vienna somebody would come up with, you know, we got this 19th century, like, I don't want to call them displays, they're more like Ausstellungsmöbel. So they really reek of this 19th century hierarchies.
We would like to thank the participating artists, gallerists, our sponsors, experts, organizers, and our host, the Hotel InterContinental. We hope you enjoyed a glimpse into INTERCONTI Wien. You can discover more about the galleries, artists, and artworks on our website, where you can also inquire about all exhibited artworks.